Hello everyone, this is Julie with Craft with Julie and it is time for another scrapbook workshop kit. If you missed last week, we did layout number 1. I'll put a link to that up in the corner of this video. If you missed it, you can go back and watch it. We are going to be doing layout number 2 today. I like to cut the papers and set them out to kind of see what they look like, and then I start designing from there. The photos I decided to use are of my cats. Pretty much my camera roll is scrapbooking, cards, or my cats. Every once in a while the kids will get into the photos, but I haven't scrapbooked a lot of these photos of just me and the cats. So I'm going to go ahead and use those today. I did change them into black and white just so it would mesh more with the colors that we have here and not, I don't know, distract from it. So I love the scrapbooking kits. They have all the papers, all of the cardstock. They have die cuts, so these are all die cuts. And also this sticker sheet. So there's a lot of fun options we can use. And I like to use them as a starting point. And then I go from there and customize them to my photos and my taste. So this one, I really love the layout of this. It has really good bones, but I feel like it's a little plain. So I am going to work on adding some more things to this page. Also maybe eliminate some of this big plain space, and just by bringing in some like extra cardstock, maybe die cuts, Cricut cuts, things like that. So come along with me and we'll see where this page goes. I forgot to mention earlier that the scrapbooking workshop kit that we are playing with today is called Currently Loving. I will put a link to the workshop kit and also any supplies that we use along the way in the description of the video so you can check them out. But first I'm going to lay down some Secret Sea cardstock, and then I cut down that lighter blue pattern paper that is exclusive to this kit. I cut that down to 11 by 11, so we have a nice darker border and then the nice light blue. And then I'm bringing in the pieces that were already cut, and you'll see me flip them over. I always like to see what my options are on the back side, and I do like the tan pattern, so you'll see that come in later, but I didn't add it here. I'm still going to go with the blue so it matches the border. I have mounted all my photos on the white cardstock that was included in the kit, and I'm just going to lay them out and kind of get an idea of, or a feel for what this page is going to look like. Then I'm also going to bring in the punch outs, the die cuts, and also place them there. I'm going to go ahead and use this large petal pink circle. It also has some fun designs to it. I think it just adds a little bit of color to this page, but I will need to add it to the other side as well. It's just kind of what I like to do. If it's on one side, it needs to be on the other, so I'm going to find a way to do that. So these photos I chose are of me and my cats, and we have Trevor, who's older, and then Lila, who came a few years later, and the pictures actually start from when they were kittens and then all the way to now. So I just went through my camera roll and picked out ones that had me and them, or just them, and I'm going to go ahead and document how I love being a cat mama. When they were kittens, they loved to just sleep on my shoulders or like right up next to my face, and as they've gotten older, they will tolerate me by just laying next to me. So it kind of shows the progression in these photos. I found the perfect title for this page on my Cricut. It is Cat Mama, and I cut it in Secret Sea. It's very, very thin, so I'm just going to lay this out, see how it looks, and see where I want to place the title for this page. Like I mentioned earlier, I felt like I needed to add some more to this page, and I remembered this adorable kit that I just got. It's called Adopt a Pet Kit, and you can make the most adorable little dog and bird and cat and hamster. They're like 3D items. They have little adoption certificates. They all have a little toy, and they all have a cage or a house or a box for, in this case, for cats, because cats love boxes. So I pulled out the cat items, and I'm going to see if this will work on this page. Even though they're 3D, I think if we maybe cut them down a little bit, it will work. I'm going to go ahead and punch out the cat items, and then also kind of put them together to see what they look like, and then I can go from there to see how to incorporate it on the 3D onto a flat page. As I'm messing around with the pieces, I really noticed that the cardstock that these are made out of is actually it's thicker, so it's got more umph to it. So it's definitely something that younger kids could put together and play with, and just have a fun little pretend with their little pet collection. So each pet, as I said before, they have a little toy, a paper toy. This one has a fish, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not. The colors are a little off from my layout, but I'm going to send them out and see. And then I couldn't tell what this little dish was. I'm like, that's an adorable little dish, but what is in it? And I looked on the instructions, and it's actually for the hamster. So whatever the hamsters eat, that isn't what's in the dish. I went on my Cricut and I found these little balls of yarn, and I cut them out in cloud cover cardstock, and I thought those would be super cute to add to this page as well. So I'd cut 2 of those, and I am going to move the pieces around and kind of decide where I want them. The little cat head is cute, but I really think it needs the arms, so I'm kind of figuring out a way to make that happen. And it has the cutest little tail too, so I definitely want all of those adorable pieces included on my page. So the adoption certificate, I love the concept. I think it's so cute, but the colors just don't match. So I grabbed some Petal pink cardstock and some Secret Sea cardstock out of my stash, and I'm just going to cut off the bright pink and then mount it on to the Petal pink, or put it on Secret Sea first, so it has a nice little dark border around it, and then add it to the Petal pink. So now the little certificate definitely matches the rest of the layout, and I didn't measure, I eyeballed it, and so it is a little off, but that's okay. It doesn't always have to be perfect, right? So I love that Petal pink and how I can just change that up just a little bit and to match what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and decide where to put that. I think I'll put it on the right hand side, and again, I really want to add this little cat to this page, so I'm still trying to decide how to do the best way to do that actually. And then the cat has a box, so my cats love their Amazon boxes, and I definitely wanted to include some kind of box. I think it's so cute that it has the little symbols like the boxes do. So I'm just going to cut off this one piece and use it kind of as a layering element on my page. Now it's time to figure out the cat. I only have one in this kit, so I really don't want to ruin this adorable little guy. And so I think if I just snip down the seam of the paws and then snip off the tail, I think I'll be able to get the look that I was going for. So it has his cute little face, and then I'll put his paws kind of like holding the certificate of adoption, and then his little tail coming out underneath it. I just think that's so cute and so fun, and just kind of different than some the pages that I have done in the past. My pictures are black and white, so you can't really tell, but this little cat kind of reminds me of our Lila. When she was a kitten, she had the cutest little stripes. They've kind of faded as she's gotten bigger, but as I look back at her kitten photos, I just remember how much we loved her a little striped belly, and she did have stripes on her tail, and it's just so cute. You just gotta love those little kittens. She is also gray. She's a torta tabby, so it works out perfectly. I still feel like the blue is too much. There's still too much blank space. So I am going to bring in a doodle. You know how I love a doodle. I'm going to do a double doodle all the way around, just using a black journaling pen. I like to do my doodles away from me, so I pull the pen away, and it helps me keep more control of the pen, so I get a better look to it. I'm more controlled. Even though it doesn't look like it's controlled, I have a better handle on how the lines go down on to the paper. Okay, I feel like it's now time to commit to a few things. So I am bringing in my handy dandy ruler, and I am going to put the title down. Usually I just eyeball it, but for this one I want to make sure that the letters were straight. And so I bring out the T-square ruler and place those onto the page. And then the glue I'm using is the fine tip glue. And if you have small titles like this, I highly recommend the fine tip. It goes on so well, and it doesn't gush and get all over your fingers, and you can just put a nice thin layer on and then lay it onto your project, and it looks really good in the end. So instead of that, the green tip glue, this one is a lot thinner, clear, and it's perfect for little pieces like this. The mama part of this is very thin, so you definitely need the fine tip to get the glue on that. And I'm going to use my ruler again to line up the mama, and then I can start building around the title. My balls of yarn needed a little something, and I unfortunately do not have cloud cover in my arsenal of inks, and so I chose Pull Party. I thought that would bring out the edges of the yarn a little bit. So I'm going to have my silicone mat and my Pull Party ink and my blending brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of ink to the edge and pretty much all over, just to define the lines in this ball of string a little bit more. So as you can tell, I've moved everything over to the right hand page. I'm just setting it over there while I work on the left hand page. And so I decided it was easier to work on one side at a time. So I'm bringing in that little box and the ball of yarn. And then I also need to reference the instructions again, because I couldn't remember after all of this where the photos were supposed to go. I probably should have looked before I put the title on, but you know, I'm changing it up enough that it really doesn't matter. I can just put them on how I like. So the left hand page has two photos, and I decided to use the photo of me and Lila, and then the photo of Trevor as a kitten. He used to sleep on my shoulder and like upside down. It was just the craziest thing. He didn't like to be held or anything, but he would come and just snuggle with your neck or on your chest right up next to your face, and he would fall asleep, and then when he was done with his nap, he would go on his way. So I thought that was just a cute photo to include on the scrapbook page. So the punch outs have this gorgeous cluster of flowers and leaves, and on the instructions they have it above the photos, but I'm thinking I'm going to use those flowers to help me hide more of that lighter pattern in the background and put them over onto the left hand side instead. So this piece of I think it's pecan pie pattern is one that they have you cut, and it was just sitting on my desk, so I thought it would be fun to maybe layer it with the box, adding a different color to that section as well. And then I did remember I liked a pattern that was the tan and the floral, and I wanted to bring that back in. So I actually keep all of my extra pieces after I've cut the layouts, so I can use them on the pages or for different projects, and then once I'm done creating my pages, I will just integrate the cardstock and pattern paper into my stash. So this one was already cut at 2 inches, so perfect for me. I'm like, looks great, I don't need to cut that down. But I decide I don't like it going all the way across the page, so I will cut it at 7 inches, so it just goes to that blue line, and then kind of adds, it adds like a focus, not a focus, but a landing spot for the boxes and the yarn and those things, by adding just a little bit of the pecan pie, and actually I think it's basic beige. If I, to be honest, I think it's basic beige and white, and it's a floral pattern. Okay, so now I have that base to add my little pieces to. I'll bring in the box. I'm going to add dimensionals to the box and a couple other pieces around just to add some dimension to the page. And hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that to the box because I layer the yarn on top of it. But I think it will work out in the end. It will just, the yarn's just kind of hanging off the box, but you'll see. And then I have this brown piece. It has a little, I think this is from the cut part card, and so it's just, I just have one, but I think it'll be good to just add it right there behind that box just to add some more to that area. So this is where I realized I kind of messed up just a little bit adding the dimensions to the box. It'll just make the yarn a little bit harder to attach, but I really like the yarn there, so I play around with it a little bit, moving it in different places. See, I almost committed, but I'm just gonna leave it there for a second and move on, and then decide where I want to put that in the end. So I know I definitely want to add dimensionals to the back of the flower, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that while I ponder on the yarn. And this is such a nice big cluster of flowers and the leaves, and I love the colors, love the white, the secret sea, and then it just has a little hint of that cloud cover in it. And I'm going to just add a bunch of dimensionals behind it and add it right there to the left side of my page. Okay, so I think I'm done messing around with the left hand side, and now I need to have the right hand side match. So I'm adding some doodles to that lighter blue. I left the cat on there because I didn't want to lose any of the pieces, but it's not laid down quite yet. I do have a little issue with my pen. It kind of gunks up a little bit, but I do eventually get the lines and the double doodle. So I really think that adds a lot to the page. Okay, so now let's bring in the instructions to show me where the photos go on the right hand page. Again, I am changing this up so I could put them wherever I want, but sometimes I like to reference the original instructions to kind of help me or guide me to where they might look the best. And so these 3 photos are just kind of going down the left hand side of this page, and they're kind of scawampus and they kind of touch each other. So we can do that, just lay them down and add some adhesive. Okay, since I added that basic beige floral pattern to the left, I want to add it to the right. So again, it's just 2 inches by 7 inches, and I'm going to put it in the same spot. I should have measured it the first time and put it like on a measurement, but it's in between. So it's not quite at 3 inches, but it's not quite at 2 3/4. It's kind of in between. So I'm eyeballing that. So it looks universal on both sides. So I really like that, how this side will also be anchored on that adorable floral pattern. I just love it so much. It's so cute. And it also adds another color to the page. So we're going to add the adoption certificate. I couldn't decide if I wanted it like touching the photos or not. I kind of went back and forth on that, and then I decided I didn't want it touching. It just looked better that way, so I went with that. I'm adding dimensionals to the back of the kitty's head, and then I'm going to add his little paws, again holding the adoption certificate, and I decide that I want it to like just kind of hang over, and so it is covering up the certificate part of it, but I think it shows enough that when you're looking through the page you kind of get the idea of what that says. I'm going to go ahead and add his little tail. I look at it and try and decide if there's like a right way or a wrong way for the tail, but then I remember this is like kind of a 3D project kit and you can't go wrong either way. So I'm going to add the tail, and then I'm going to bring back the yarn, so it has a yarn on each side of the page, and then also bring in the punch outs to add to this side so it matches the left hand side. This side has two little mini clusters of flowers and leaves, and in the same colors, and I just love it. I bring the yarn in, I kind of play around with that, decide which spot I want to put the yarn in, and so it's kind of now just doing the finishing touches on this page. I bring in the sticker sheet to see if there's anything else I want to add. I found this cloud cover sticker that says picture perfect, and I love that, so I'm going to add that above the photo of Lila and myself. And there is another floral that they used in the instructions. There's just a little flower and a leaf that matches the punch outs, so I think I'm going to add that to the page as well. I'm going to tuck the little blue leaf, or the Secret Sea leaf, underneath the yarn so the stem doesn't show too much, and then of course I'm going to add some dimensionals to this flower to pop it up and just add it right there next to the ball of yarn. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know the last thing I like to add is a little bit of bling. The Moody palette glossy dots are perfect for this collection. They match perfectly. They're great. So I grab my brand new package of those and decide where to put them around my page. I do like to add them in little bunches of 2s or 3s. So here I'm just opening my package. It's brand new. I almost forgot about these, but I had to go back to my desk and grab something else, and they were sitting there. I'm like, oh, these will be perfect. Yes, I have two different areas. I have a filming area, and then I have my desk area where I create a lot of things. So I do have two little areas, and I think my husband wishes they only had one, but we do what we can, right? So I'm going to add a couple of dots around the page. Again, I like to add them next to things as well, as kind of add to the clusters, just so I'm following the items that I already have on the page and just adding a couple of the dots in white. I couldn't decide if I wanted to use the blue, so they were more camouflage, but I really think the white pops out really nicely, and so I think this page is done. If you enjoyed this video, I would love a thumbs up, maybe leave me a comment, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's video where we tackle layout number 3. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.